I had literally zero hope for this game, ladies and gentlemen. It was one of the lowest over-unders that we have seen literally over the past 5 seasons. You had the Patriots with an implied team total of 12 points, yet you have some viable guys here. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott going through absolutely crushing. I will say as a quick side note, I know none of y'all care, but I did have Ezekiel Elliott in a $1,000 underdog draft where I am fighting tooth and nail for the last spot into the playoff tournament. So thank God Zeke came through for us. We had James Conner on that team on the bye as well, which is funny enough, my friend. But let's go ahead and let's dive into exactly what we have. So starting off with the Pats, you have Bailey Zappi with a very impressive game, right? 240 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns. I mean, you have Juju with the 90 receiving yards. Zeke, phenomenal. Ezekiel Elliott, 68 receiving yards, 72 receiving yards, and the receiving touchdown. Now, a couple of different things happen. One, Ezekiel Elliott dramatically exceeds my expectations. I did not think he was going to be able to come close to this, primarily because the implied team total of this offense was 12 points. I thought it was going to be the worst offense in the NFL, and it wouldn't even be close. 2, if we're going to go ahead and look at the last time that Ezekiel Elliott had 100 total yards in a game, I mean, this isn't really believable, but Underdog just tweeted out, I'm sure that they are not lying to us here. Ezekiel Elliott just topped 100 yards from scrimmage. The last time Zeke had 100 or more in a single game was 781 days ago. So Zeke coming out of absolutely nowhere to give us a great game. And the reality of the situation is this is probably something that we should assume is going to continue to happen going forward. Not to this extent. Ezekiel Elliott, however, is going to have every single touch out of this backfield, every single snap at the running back position. And that does make him a must-start guy just based off of volume and volume alone. However, with that being said, it's going to be a much worse offense going forward. While, yeah, Bailey Zappi had 3 touchdowns in this game, you still have a horrendous Patriots offense. I want to say it's a bottom 5 offense in the league going forward. I know we all just watched them win the game. I know people want to be excited. And it was a tough matchup going up against Pittsburgh. But the reality of the situation is this is a tanking team that really has been inefficient moving the ball down the field over the past, I want to say, 2 seasons? Like, it's not really going to change here. It's not like Bailey Zappi's a great option. Hunter Henry goes and has 2 touchdowns. Am I going to be super excited to play Hunter Henry next week? Probably not. He had 3 targets. So the reality of the situation is, I don't know. I mean, probably a bad offense. We start Zeke based off volume and volume alone. But when it comes to everybody else, not super excited. Yes, I understand Henry had 2 touchdowns. He had 3 targets as well. If Henry can continue to score a touchdown on 67% of his targets, I'm all in on Hunter Henry. But I don't know. Please let me know in the live chat. Are you excited to start Hunter Henry going forward, ladies and gentlemen? Now, let's go ahead and dive into what we have from Pittsburgh. Now, Najee Harris was injured pretty much all week. We didn't know if Najee would be good to go for today. He did get cleared early in this morning. Obviously, it's a very tough matchup going up against the New England Patriots. Like we mentioned, this game had one of the lowest over-unders that we have seen over the past 3 seasons. Deontay Johnson gets there with 7 targets. Pat Freiermuth has 7 targets, which is interesting as well. But ultimately, you have 35 passing attempts from Trubisky. He's very bad, very inefficient. He spreads the ball out throughout this entire offense. Najee Harris and Jalen Warren continue to split the backfield. So we are going to continue to rank every single player in Pittsburgh as an unstartable option. Really, the only guy that I think we come away with this game saying you have to start him going forward is Zeke based off the volume. I understand a lot of people want to go down there and start Hunter Henry. I think if you have Hunter Henry in your underdog best ball teams, congrats. But in terms of predicting him to go out there and have a great week this next week, will be tough. And yes, I was talking about this earlier on, my man. Don't know if you're just now coming in the live stream, but I had a $1,000 underdog buy-in draft where Ezekiel Elliott looks like he may have just advanced us. Thank God. We're still fighting it out. I have Lamar on that team, and the guy I'm fighting for that last spot with for the playoff tournament has Trevor Lawrence. So what I'm really hoping for is Lawrence does not play this week, Lamar plays. That's what I really need. But let me go ahead and pull up these questions. Thank you so much for hanging out with us every single night, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope that you had Zeke and you didn't have to go up against them. And as I pull up these questions, you have not done so, hit that like button. We are 5 likes away from hitting 100 likes on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And of course, if you wanted to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, 100% deposit match, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers, and a Dak Prescott special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard. Nolan saying in that $1,000 league is 30 points behind us, and I might put up 170. Okay, let me go ahead and let me pull this up because you got me a little bit scared, my friend. Okay, but as I pull this up, first question, Jacob says, full BBR, do we start Reed, Dobbs over Wilson this week? No, Christian Watson's probably not going to play. I'm still going to go with the target volume that you're going to get of Garrett Wilson, even if the Patriots will be a much better offense. You're more than 30 points behind us, my man. Now, after the Zeke game, you are approximately 50 points. But let's see. You're rolling with Dak at QB, solid QB. Najee just did diddly. You have no Dobbins as well. You have no Brian Robinson on bye. My man, you got Kyler on bye, Brian Robinson on bye. Your only 2 running backs, you're going to war with Bijan and Devin Singletary. You have Hollywood on bye. My man, Nolan, I'm sorry, you don't have a shot here. You got Trey McBride on bye. Maybe if going with the Arizona onslaught, if you didn't have that bye week this week, maybe I'd be a little bit worried. I'm not worried about you in that hunt for that last playoff spot. I'm worried about that other guy. But Michael says, would you rather have Breece or Derrick Henry for the playoffs? Full BBR format, probably going to go ahead and take Breece Hall, the running back that's going to be involved as a receiver. Let me go ahead and just pull up the schedule that we have for these guys just to make sure. But I'm almost positive I will say Derrick Henry is someone that I want nothing to do with this week when he's a 13-point dog to Miami. Tennessee has Houston twice and Seattle once. The Jets have the Dolphins, Commanders, and Browns. Yeah, I'm going to go with Breece Hall there in a full PPR league. Now, Caleb says, 9-4 locked into the playoffs, a full PPR single flex. Russ, Goff, Kyron, HN Mixon, Keaton, Tajee, Dowdle, Tyreek, Deontay, Hollywood, Dobbs, Palmer, Kincaid, Goddard, Lost Tank, Dell. How are we looking for the playoffs? I mean, quarterback, we're fine playing the matchups between these two guys. Really nice that we're getting Devon Achane back in. Really, we're just going all in on this Miami Dolphins offense, right? I mean, if Miami can continue to roll, I mean, every single week they have an applied team total of about 30 points. I think you're in a really good spot. The issue is when you have that one stack built around one offense, once we get to the playoffs, obviously, if you have your offense just taking 1 week off where Miami maybe falters, then it could be a really tough spot. But I don't know. I like the team. Now, Tomsky says, a full BBR, Mostert or Rashee Rice win and I'm in. I'm going to go with Mostert. I think both backs in Miami are guys that we can start every single week. Now, next question coming out from username says Aaron Jones or Josh Downs. I am not super excited to go through and start Aaron Jones his first week back in. We saw them be very hesitant with Aaron Jones earlier in the season coming back from an injury. So I don't want to tell a lot of people to go Jones, but I probably do go Aaron Jones here. I probably go Jones. Now, Rough Time says coin flip Zeke Ford for the win. Heads one. Hell yes. Let's go, my man. I mean, Zeke, we knew was going to get every single touch. It's just such a tough spot making that call with how bad this offense was supposed to be. Now, Hazan says start 3, Moss, Eckler, Pacheco, Kyron, and then start Puka or Waddle. I'm going to go with Waddle over Puka based off how bad the matchup is for Puka. And then for the running backs, I'm going to be going with Moss, Eckler, and Kyron. If it is a full PPR format, non-PPR, flip from Eckler to Pacheco. But Pacheco's missed practice the past 2 days. Hogan says there's hope for Lawrence if he plays Lawrence or Dobbs. I will go Dobbs, 4-point pass and touchdown. Give me the guy with the rushing upside with Jefferson coming back. But I am very biased here. We got, a lot of money on the line going up against Trevor Lawrence this week. So really hoping Lawrence does not play. Now, Gabe says, should we trade Chase, Noah Brown, Deontay, and Addison? For Kyron Watson and Aaron Jones, we have Gibson, Bijan, and Henry. So we don't really need a running back. I'm sorry, Gibbs, not Gibson. Going from Chase to Kyron Williams, I think honestly make an argument for either or at this point, which is crazy to say. Give me Christian Watson over Noah Brown for the long term. Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones, probably give me. Honestly, it really is up to you. I don't necessarily know why we need to be trading every single wide receiver for multiple running backs. We already have Gibbs, Bijan, and Henry. Doesn't seem like a trade we're super excited about. Abraham says, scoop Zeke off waivers. Have been using Jerome Ford since the Walker injury. Who would he start rest of season? Walker, Zeke, or Jerome? Is it dumb to start Goddard and Ferguson? Yes, please do not start one of those tight ends in your flex. I can almost guarantee you have a better option than that. And if we're looking at Walker, I probably go Walker out of this list, assuming that he is fully healthy. But obviously, we are going to have to see how this progresses. Okay, if it's a 6-point touchdown league, I'd probably go a little bit more in line with just Trevor Lawrence there, even if I'm not excited about it. I'm assuming Lawrence misses. Obviously, if y'all didn't hear, Lawrence was at practice this week. Can everybody please spam the chat? Do you think that Trevor Lawrence plays this week? He was at practice today. Do you think he is playing this week, ladies and gentlemen? Please spam the chat. And Nick says, how are the best ball teams looking? Let me go ahead and pull this up. The best ball mania teams in particular. We have the high stakes drafts at the very top. The high stakes drafts are actually looking very nice, which is the main thing that I care about. But let me find the best ball mania teams. Does not help that our most drafted player was Jonathan Taylor, but it is what it is. That's my fault. God. Am I an idiot or did they move Best Ball Mania? Weekly winners. Way too early. Superflex. Pre-draft. Superflex. Best Ball Mania. Bam. I think they moved it. Right now we are advancing 26 teams. We are advancing 26 teams, which is barely above average. Barely. But hopefully that number goes up a bit, and hopefully we have a team to sneak through. Now, Jalen says, Fields, Ayuk, Tyreek, Taysom, Chuba, Henry, Evans, Zeke, Houston's defense, Rams kicker. We have Herbert, Gus, Flowers on the bench. How are we looking? Got to win. I think it looks great considering the fact that we played Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, I wish we would have played Zeke over Derrick Henry or Zeke over Chuba. Like, really, we don't want to be playing that Thursday night guy ever in the flex spot just because it does put us in a little bit of a tough spot. And that I may rather go through and play like Zay Flowers over Chuba Hubbard, but I don't know if we can now that we played Zeke at the flex. We just have less flexibility with our roster. Jovi says, going forward, Zeke or Jacobs. And then McBride or Hawkinson. That's actually tough knowing that we have Jefferson coming back in. I'm going to say, let's go ahead and let's take Hawkinson, but it's close. Thomas says, need a defense for the rest of the season. We have the Cowboys, but their schedule worries me. Should we drop the Cowboys and pick up the Texans, Jets, or Colts? Surprised the Jets defense is out there. So the Jets are going to open up with Miami. Want nothing to do with that. We also have the Commanders and the Browns. Let me go ahead and pull up what we have with some of these others. Okay. So Colts, you have the Steelers to open up. Then the Falcons, Raiders. Colts have a great schedule for their defense. Cowboys will be going up against the Bills, Dolphins, then Lions, which is a very tough spot to be in, of course. I wouldn't mind rostering two defenses, rostering both the Cowboys and the Jets, playing the Cowboys the first week of your playoffs, then pivoting to the Jets against Washington and Cleveland. Once you get to the playoffs, you can easily roster two defenses. Now, True Play says, bench Zeke, flex 2, Wilson, Hopkins, Ferguson, and Kincaid. We will go with both wide receivers. I mean, I'm still fine playing Kincaid at tight end with Dawson Knox coming back, but not super excited to throw him in the flex. Now, Kevin says 12 team, 3 receiver, 1 flex. We have Stroud, Mixon, Etienne, Tyreek, DK, T, Ferguson, Zeke. Sell Zeke for Flowers as my playoff flex. JSN, Singletary, Shakir on the bench. If it's a 3 wide receiver, 1 flex, full PBR format, I understand a little bit more. Not something that I'm super excited about, to be honest with you. Zeke is going to continue to get every single touch out of the backfield, right? So, I mean, he can if you want specifically in that format. Jack says Dobbs or Goff. I'm going to be going with Jared Goff relatively easily if it's a 6-point passing touchdown format. 4-point passing touchdown league, I may go with the rushing upside of Dobbs. And then start 3, Kamara, Moss, Pacheco, and Montgomery. We're going to be going Kamara, Moss, and then Pacheco. If Pacheco plays and McKinnon misses, and McKinnon plays, we'll go Montgomery. Dime says drop 1 for a defense. Lockett, Chuba, Gus, Amari, Najee. I'll drop Gus as a running back that's in a 3-man running back by committee with no usage as a receiver. I think it's a high floor, but a low ceiling. That's not what I want at the very bottom end. Tiago says Jefferson or Jacobs at the flex. We're going to go most likely Jacobs this week. Looking at my rankings, we rank them in the same tier. If it is a full BBR format, I think we go Jefferson. Anything less, I think we go Jacobs. Hogan says, looking forward to next week. Is Gibson a good waiver wire target? Yeah, for sure. If you're going to have no Brian Robinson next week, you can definitely go out there and pick up Gibson and see what happens. But Alex, happy to see you. And I meant to tell you, if you're not already a member of flockfantasy.com, shoot me a DM on Twitter. And I'd like to set you up with an account, my man. So shoot me a DM. But thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for hanging out with us. Really hope you started Ezekiel Elliott. Really hope you did not have to go up against them. Hope you have a great night, of course. We'll be live every single day till 2024. We've been live for 224 days in a row. Does not seem like that's even possible, but it is. We have not missed a day since April. And of course, if you want to support this live stream, hitting that like button always helps. Subscribing to the channel is cool. And the best way to support, promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy. You can find that link in the description, in the comment section. It's where all these pick'ems are. Promo code FLOCK is going to get you a 100% deposit match, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers, and that Dak Prescott special pick'em more than less than half a total yard. But one last question. Jess Wusa says, need a win this week to make the playoffs. We have Tua, Etienne, Hall, Wilson, Kupp, Puka, Moore, Kittle, and the Texans. On the bench, we have Brown, Spears, Zay Jones, Dobbs, Chandler, Hyatt. Any moves? Probably cut Hyatt, find someone else off the waiver wire. And honestly, no, I think we leave this team as is. Noah Brown's exciting in the long term. The issue is going to be, of course, if you do have him going up against the Jets, it's about the worst matchup you could ever ask for. But thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Really do appreciate y'all. Really hope you have a great night, and really hope I get to see you out with the live stream tomorrow night.